Yeah, surprise, surprise to anybody who actually subscribed or got whatever notifications for this podcast series. I don't know what they do on YouTube. There's another episode. I've had ideas for quite some time, and just like always, I've been too lazy to do them, but I finally decided to act on my laurels because this is a thing that's been on my mind lately, and it's something that I know not a lot of people have thought about, but people inadvertently complain about. So I'm going to put this out here. Whoever sees it, cool. If you like it, cool. If not, that's cool too. But it's just something that is there. It's something that is pretty relevant. What is the point of this? If you have this special in Salmon Run, you should use it. Well, I mean, you should always use your specials, but what do I mean? You ever been in the scenario in wave 1 or wave 2 and not wave 3 because I'm pretending you don't just hoard all your specials to wave 3 and never use them and puff your chest out and slam your chest like you're the greatest because you didn't use your special. People who are actually trying to make it through a shift of Salmon Run without falling off the boat. Okay? I'm talking about you people, And you're sitting there halfway through wave 1, like 50 seconds left, and there's 3 fly fish because people refuse to go throw a bomb at a fly fish. They can't be bothered. There's like 2 stingers, and you're sitting there with a tank, and you're like, man, I don't know why anybody doesn't go do anything about this. Somebody could go use a special. I sure wish somebody had a inkjet. Somebody had a whale. Somebody had maybe a buoy bomb, charge strike. I wish somebody would go do something about this. I don't want to use tank. Crab tank is a bad special. It's really not. It's actually one of the good ones. But something that you don't know or something that you haven't considered is that if you have crab tank, you might be the only person with a special that could realistically do something in a general sense. What do I mean by that? So, I guess I should make this disclaimer. I'm doing this off the cuff. This is terrible. This isn't scripted. I don't think I've ever scripted anything on this channel, maybe 1 or 2. But for the people who play in groups, and you actually communicate with each other outside of the game, so like if you're an overfisher and you're actually using your chat, or you're like a streamer, you're playing with your squad and you're actually talking to people, and you actually do this, and you actually tell each other what specials you have, this isn't for you because you solved this problem. Okay, this video is not for you. I should have said that up front. This is up front enough. But for everybody else, for the rest of us plebs out there, for the rest of us common go-getters who are trying to struggle and survive out there in freelance, fending for ourselves, believing that we are the best things that Grisco has ever sent against the Salmonid army, this is something we need to consider, all right? When you queue into a game with 4 people and you're sitting in the copter, or maybe it technically happens after, I don't know when it actually happens, but you get 4 specials, okay? If you've never thought about it, there are rules to what specials you get. I think there's really only one rule, but there are rules to the specials you get. Your team will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Again, I'm doing this horribly. These 5 are long-range specials, right? Your team will have 2 of these, at least. At least. That means you could get lucky, and everybody could have a long-range special, and everybody is happy. But at the least, you will have 2 of them. So the first thing you have to consider is that I didn't have another color set up. Let's go darker red. That's good enough. The first thing you have to consider is that 2 of your teammates might have this trash can, this, or this. Yes, I threw some slight the whack breaker. We can talk more about that somewhere down the road. But jokes aside, the first thing you have to consider is 2 of your teammates may have these 4 specials. And when somebody has one of these 4 specials, there are some scenarios where they are literally held hostage to the situation and they can do very little, if nothing. And if there's something for them to do, which would probably involve them using Again, I don't have colors. This is off the cuff. You have to forgive me here. Let's use blue for this. Save that blue. If they have this special, and this special, they may be able to do something if they are above and beyond the average coworker in this scenario. If they have an extensive amount of knowledge to know how to kill stuff specifically with a reef slider. If they have the timing and the positioning to kill something with a splashdown. If they know to hold ZR and know what they can go through with Kraken. Not everybody knows that. And when I say not everybody knows that, I don't mean, oh, not everybody leading up to Prof 2. Oh no, not everybody leading up to EVP 600. I've been playing overfishing sessions with egg requirements, and there are people that I look at them with their specials like, you really didn't think to do X, Y, or Z, because a lot of people don't know these things. So you can't expect them to do this. It would be nice. It would be a perfect world. But there's a lot more important things that we would ask for in a perfect world first. But the point that I'm making is, 2 people may be held hostage by one of these specials, and as far as they know, there is nothing they can do. So, when you have one of these 5 specials right here, you have a great power, and you have a good amount of responsibility. Now, here's another thing you have to consider, and this is pretty much the thing that led me to yeeting this video out into the wild. Let's talk about these 4 specials right here. Again, these are all long range specials, tongue-tied. Killer Whale, Tri-Strike, Crab Tank, Inkjet. These are all specials that are long range, that can hit multiple targets. From what I've heard, and I don't have no official say of this, I don't know if there's an official say for this, this makes perfect sense. If you think about it, you can go along with this line of logic. You have 2 quick use specials. You have 2 transform specials. I should have used 2 different colors. We're using 2 different colors again. Go back to red. 2 transform specials. These 2 quick specials, in a general sense, you are going to ironically pick 3 targets with a whale, 3 targets with a tri-strike, and they're very quick use, right? It lines up nicely with the fact that there can only be at most 3 of a kind of boss on the stage at the time. So for all the people who were screaming, there's 5 million fly fish, there's 6 fly fish. No, there's only 3. They have 6 baskets, sure, but they are attached to 3 fly fish. And it's really convenient that if you have one of these specials, you don't even need 2. If you have one of these specials, you could kill all 3 of them. Sure, there's a little bit of leeway if can you get in position with the tri-strike. Hey, that's one of the great things about whale. It's global. It hits full stage. Really and truly, it hits off into another stage. You can hit a fly fish on bone rattle from spawning grounds, but you have to know to do it. Okay, so the point is, you have 2 specials that can pinpoint specific bosses at long range, one longer than the other, and if used accurately, and yes, I understand if used accurately is a very important statement, you can just get rid of the bosses. Then you have these 2 down here, the transform specials, where yes, when you use them, and if you use them in the full duration, which Inkjet you can cancel whenever you want to. Lately I've been seeing people be completely selfish and use their jet to save themselves for absolutely no reason, and then wondering why the wave failed because their special went into jumping into the water instead of shooting the 10 shots that you get. Anyways. When you have these specials, you transform and you get to shoot multiple shots as you reposition. So these specials are really good for killing multiple bosses in various positions. This even includes Crab Tank, much to many people's dismay, who try to argue this is the worst special in Salmon Run by a large margin. That would be this one. So, these two specials kill a lot of bosses in a bunch of different areas. Inkjet does do a lot better for... I'll just go ahead and cliff note it as obvious reasons. I'll just say reasons because we're not sitting here to explain all the specials that thoroughly. For reasons, Inkjet is really good. One of the best specials for clearing multiple bosses. Crab Tank's also really good. If you want to pinpoint specific bosses, these two are really good. But then you still have one long range special. All right. This Lost Soul down here, the Booyah Bomb. It's okay at killing bosses. It's not a lot of damage. But it's a one-time use in a decent sized area. I don't know if it's as big as Reef Slider that. But it's still a long range special nonetheless. And it's important to note it's a long range special. Because for the entire purpose of this video, yet again, if you have Crab Tank, remember that according to the rules, there only has to be one other special, long range special for it to be a valid comp, a valid seed. Or else it wouldn't have gave it to you and you'd have something else where this is the rule. There is going to be at least one other long range special. Have you ever considered that it's this? So when there's Flyfish 1, Flyfish 2, Flyfish 3, and you're sitting here at Plat on Hydroplant, because it's your favorite stage where you get to just sit on the wall and watch everything funnel to you. But you're getting bombarded by flyfish because nobody is willing to throw 60% of their ink tank and use the rest of it. And they're sitting there like, man, it sure would be nice if somebody used a special. It would be great to bail us out of here so we can get some room, get some eggs, and maybe make it a wave too. And you are sitting there chirping with the other three coworkers, but you have Crab Tank, and you never considered that coworker number 1 has Booyah. Coworker number 2 has Reef Slider. Actually, for the sake of this, I'll say Kraken. And coworker number 3 has Wave Breaker. This is valid. This is a thing that can happen. So if you decide you're not going to use your Crab Tank for whatever reason, pick your favorite reason, pick your least favorite reason. Guess what? Good luck. You're just going to be sitting there with, what is it? 24 missiles, probably, because if you're in this scenario, nobody probably threw a bomb. And so the last 60 seconds are just going to be do 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 press the Crab Tank button. It'll be okay. It's wave 1. I don't want to use my specials on wave 1 because I need to save them for wave 3. This is where we lead into something down the road. If you have that kind of mentality where you absolutely need to save your specials for the worst case scenario, you probably do not know when you should use your special. And so when you finally do decide to use it, which your trigger is 9 times out of 10, actually, I'm not even going to say 9. I'm going to say like 9.7. 97% of the time, your trigger is 2 people are down, or it's even 1 player left. You're not going to get a good special out of that. And that's why you think this is garbage. Because you waited too late. That's why you're getting a pay cut. Because you waited too late. It's okay. You know why it's okay? Especially for the people I'm talking to. Us go-getters out there fending for our lives. You know why it's okay for us to use our specials a little bit early? Because everybody else is thinking they're going to hold on to theirs till the end of wave 3 so they can sit on the podium of the end, press their right stick in, and act like they're the greatest players that have ever purchased Splatoon 3. So you know they got it. Use your coworkers. Even if you're abusing their bad habits, use your coworkers. Abuse your coworkers. Press the Crab Tank button. It'll be okay. really, and the ultimate thing that I'm going for is if you have any of these and you're looking at the stuff at shore, the statics at shore that are harassing you, that are driving people up the wall, that are legitimately making things hard at sometimes. If you have, like Hydra, E-Leader, something that wants to stay grounded and move slowly for a while, or if you have just ink-hungry weapons, as they're called, like your dynamos, your paintbrush, something that is very likely to not have ink, really your really your rollers in general, something that is not likely to have ink, so it's very easy for them to be stuck. You might need to be a little more proactive, a little more foregoing, take some charge, clear a couple of statics, clear a couple of bosses in general, and just free up some room. Now, what that does not specifically mean is that just because you have one of these two or this one, you're free of responsibility. You could do just as much as well. You just actually have to work harder. Like, you legitimately have to work harder because by design, you have to be in range to do something. And then with I guess I really could say these three again, because there are some nuances with this. But when you have these three specials, you need to know some somewhat obtuse things to get a good amount of efficiency out of them. And that's why, if you start talking to people about specials, and I don't mean just the top cracked OP broken overfishers. I mean, if you talk to literally anybody, like you go be a fly on the wall in various streams, various skill levels, you'll kind of realize that people complain about every single one of these specials. Yes, even this one. Yes, I've heard people complain about Inkjet. Believe it or not. People complain about all of these specials because there's some real responsibility. And if you don't understand what you're responsible for, if you don't understand what you're capable of, you don't get any value out of your special. If you don't press the button, you don't get any value whatsoever. But if you don't understand what you're capable of in any real capacity, you get very little value out of them. So what about this guy right here? You mean set it and forget it? Jokes aside, I hope you understand that even though this thing takes 3 waves to kill a Quahog, LOL, and just doesn't kill a boss outright, LOL, you are responsible for not throwing this into the basket, not throwing this into a stick, not throwing this on top of a Moz, not throwing this in front of an eel, not throwing this at the big shot cannon. There's some more that I'm not thinking of. Not throwing this in front of a griller. But yeah, other than that, you just kind of set it and forget it. For the most part. That's not everything, but it's whack breaker. All of this to say, the next time you are sitting in your game and you have this special and you were thinking about sending an angry resignation letter to Mr. Grizz because, my coworkers are garbage. They're go-getters. They don't do anything. They just sat at the basket. They just shot the ground. They were waiting for everything to come to them, but there were so many statics and they refused to use their specials. They didn't do anything. You have to remember that by rule, one of them may have this. And even if they wanted to, more often than not, they're only going to be able to get rid of one of 6+ statics. 6+ because you got to consider, sticks are statics. Big shots are not literally statics, but they're static in the sense of they're only going to a certain spot. And I mean, sure, you can get 2 or 3 in a Booyah, but guess what? Booyah doesn't kill a big shot by itself. It doesn't do enough damage. Point being, they might not have the firepower to help out. And then it's very possible for the other 2 poor souls to have the other Booyah. I guess I could have circled both of these for the other Booyah. And this thing right here. And so I don't know why I made this yellow. I guess I should have made that green. So the bright, shining sun. I'm not editing this, by the way. Take it how it is. The bright, shining sun of the team, the hope, the pride and joy, who is supposed to lead the charge and defend the squad against the barrage of missiles, or at least stifle it to some degree. That might be you. And that's all I'm asking. I know this isn't something that's going to magically change overnight. It shouldn't. But just think about it next time. And again, it doesn't specifically have to be just if you have Crab Tank, because the same rule applies if you have Inkjet. The same rule applies if you have Whale. The same rule applies if you have Tri-Strike. Does the same rule apply if you have Booyah Bomb? Well, if you think about it, you have the bottom end of the totem pole of the long-range specials. So if you have Booyah Bomb, somebody else has one of these four. But you still may need to use the Booyah Bomb for something other than throwing it at the basket and killing absolutely nothing. That's my freelance experience in a nutshell. I'm out of here. Till next time. Peace.